Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 74. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I am your host, Nick Humphreys from the Practically Tactical Show, filling in for Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network here on this show. Ryan had an unfortunate gangrene incident from his new Magpul tramp stamp in Cryptic. So he's out for this week, but we're all wishing him the best, and hopefully he comes back next week. Of course, I'm joined by two staples, the people that are going to hold it down and help out the main talker on the show here. I got TJ and Chad. How's it going, guys? Thanks for coming on.
It's going good, Nick.
Hey, Nick. How are you?
Doing great. So, Chad, would you do any shooting this week?
No, I was going to take out my LCP and try out a trigger I got for review, and, well, the 30-mile-an-hour winds pretty much made me decide that I didn't want to do it.
LCP, you said?
Yeah.
Any trigger's got to be an upgrade in that, right?
Yeah, it seems to make a little bit of a difference dry firing it, so yeah.
And then, of course, we got our resident Canadian on the Firearms Radio Network. We have TJ. You do any shooting this week? Is that
No.
allowed up there?
Well, I'm not in Canada, contrary to Nick's belief, but him and Chad are closer to being Canadians than me. Is just my claim. But no, I haven't done any shooting this week, unfortunately.
This week, I did get a chance to break in my ATEI and Sweaty Money Buddy Glock 42, and then promptly have all my hopes of that being a dream gun crushed by the Glock 43, which will hit on the show. But thanks for coming on here, guys. So for everybody out there, make sure to check out firearmsradio.tv and the Firearms Insider for all your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. But let's move on to the product spotlight. First up this evening is the FNS 9 Compact. I know that there's been a lot of people, especially in the gun shop that I work at, that have been curious about this firearm. It's a striker-fired handgun. It's available with a standard and a manual safety. Something interesting here, and I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on it, is they advertise a 5.5 pound to 7.7 pound trigger pull on the gun. Have you guys ever seen a company that has a 2-pound advertised trigger swing poundage in their gun advertised?
No.
Yeah, that's it's pretty weird for that. I'm assuming it's not adjustable, so either it's available in either option, or they're just completely not sure and just kind of put a little wobble room in there. I don't know.
Seems like a lot of wobble room. I mean,
Yeah, that's a pretty big wobble room.
At least when you buy a Glock, you're like, okay, I get a 5.5 pound trigger. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to buy it. It might be 7.5 pounds, or it might be 5.5 pounds. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
To me, that says you're going to get a trigger, but I don't know.
Unless maybe they'll have two versions, kind of like Glock has their duty trigger, and then their extra weight triggers, I guess, for people that want that. I don't know. That is pretty odd.
Well, let's run on some more features on this here and see if it makes it for any. But we got a stainless steel construction, external extractor, loaded chamber indicator, front and rear cocking serrations. I do really love that. The barrel is cold hammer forged, polished chamber and feed ramp. It's a polymer framed handgun. It has 2 interchangeable back straps with lanyard eyelets. Anybody carry their gun on a lanyard?
No, I've never done that.
Yeah,
But,
I can't see I ever have done that either, but, I guess, with some of the military people putting them on a lanyard, so if they have to just drop it or something, it doesn't disappear. Or I guess if you fall down a mountain or something, it's still with you.
It might
FNS
be
Compact. If you fall down a mountain, your gun will stay with you. That's a free commercial there for FNH.
Well, if you attach a steel cable to it, you could use it as a flail in an emergency.
Oh, yeah.
But I think basically this is probably a long time coming. They've had the FNS full size line for a good little while, and I think this is basically the only thing they're missing from their line at all, because FN makes literally everything you can think of. They have all the way from machine guns down to now compact pistols. So I think this just rounds out their catalog pretty well. And but I mean, I've never handled one of the full size ones, but I imagine this one's got to be pretty close to it. It looks basically like any other compact, handgun on the market. They just take the full size, chop an inch off the barrel, chop an inch off the grip, and call it a day, basically.
Well, Chad here, I think some nice features on this here would be fully ambi slide stop lever, fully ambi magazine release, obviously pros again available with or without the ambi safety lever, polished body, low friction follower, all this, generic type of stuff. 3-dot sights fixed. I mean, feature wise, it does have pretty good features. I mean, at least competitive,
Mm-hmm.
right? And size wise, I believe it's small in the Glock 19. Does this gun intrigue you at all for concealed carry, Chad?
No. The thing is I, I guess I prefer guns that are actually smaller for concealed carry. But I can see how some people would like it. I mean, it's not hard to carry like a Glock 19, and it's slightly smaller. I do like the option of with or without a safety. I mean, that's a key selling point right there. I mean, people
Yeah.
make a gun with a safety, and then everybody says, "Hey, where's the one without it?" So at least they got that part right. You can get it with or without. Ambidextrous, you know, slide release lever and magazine release is always a nice thing because, for a concealed carry gun, you really want it to, be able to be used by either hand. So in case something happens to one or the other.
Yeah. Now, TJ, what do you think about the price here? MSRP is $599, which I'm assuming puts that's near Glock's. We'll say for Glock and the M&P line about MSRP, so it should be coming about $100 under their street price.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that puts it in the competitive ballpark. But
Yeah,
I
definitely.
guess I kind of thought I'd like to see maybe a little bit lower, to really kind of compete to take the market share. What are your thoughts?
I think it's like you said, it's definitely comparable, but maybe not undercut enough to be. If it was between this and a Glock, people know the Glock. It's been around for 20 years or longer even, but this is brand new. But I think it's cheap enough to where, or inexpensive enough to where people, will kind of take a chance on it if they're just kind of uh, trying to figure out what they want. So I think it's a pretty good price. It's not the best price, but it's also not ridiculous.
You're going to
Yeah.
get the people that already own the FNS full size too that may want a compact version
Yeah,
since the mag
absolutely.
fit.
One thing I did kind of a little confused about on this thing, if you look at it, it looks like it's got on the magazine base plate is kind of one of those finger extension styles, which I'm kind of wondering why, if that's going to be the only. It doesn't mention that there's a flat base plate versus the extended base plate, kind of like if you're familiar with an LCP, how they have that. So it doesn't say whether it's which way or the other. So it's almost like the grip is the size of a Glock 26, but then you throw the magazine in it and it's the size of a Glock 19, and there's nothing you can do about it, which I find a little odd.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't find anything on that either, so it was kind of strange.
Here's a kind of interesting note. Over at Cheaper Than Diamonds, they have it for $469. So it'd be fairly a little bit cheaper than the Glock, actually.
Yeah, so I
Yep.
guess
I'll go ahead, Chad.
I was gonna say, yeah, that makes it competitively priced then.
Yeah. Bud's Gun Shop has it for $467. So
Nice.
prices are definitely there for it. I mean,
Hmm.
now one thing that did hit me, there's only 2 interchangeable back straps. I don't know. Usually you think there's at least like a 3.
Yeah, usually there is
Small
three.
and
Now that you
large.
mention that, like with your XD and your M&P, there's three. With the Glock, there's two, but there's a base kind of level, but that is a little
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess we'll find out and see what it does. Again, I think
Yeah.
we're probably on agreement that it's probably not going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good, like I said, it's a good enough price to where people can try it out, and it's definitely a good option for the people that already have the full size, and now they have that compact availability. I definitely like the fact that it's all ambi. Uh, it has the controls look pretty low profile too, so that's good. Except for the safety. The safety looks like it might be a little too small.
Yeah.
But other than
One
that,
nice thing is though, it does come with at least 3 magazines. At least everybody's getting on board on that. It does come with two
yeah,
12-round magazines and one 17-round magazine. So
I
that
really
is
like
kind of
that they give you the multiple size mags. That's definitely good when companies do that.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, one question I do have on it though is I didn't see anything on there. Is the pictures show the pinky extension? Is
hmm
I'm assuming that is not required. I'm assuming that's removable because
I don't know.
if I wouldn't want to carry that because it just makes more, you know,
Yeah, that's what I
printing
was
bulk.
getting at earlier. I can't figure out if that's a extension or uh, just a finger extension, or if that actually serves to add, a couple rounds like some of the other ones do. Just not entirely sure. It'd be interesting to find out if they do have a flat base plate, because I think without that flat base plate, it's basically out of uh, I don't know, just in the wrong category, I would say. Like it's
Yeah.
subcompact, but once you put the magazine in, it makes it more of a compact.
Yeah. Again, guys, that is the FNS 9 Compact by FNH. MSRP is $599. You can find out more on fnhusa.com. So let's move on to the next, obviously, big news this past week in the firearms industry, the Glock 43. So Glock has eluded with several kind of little posts about anonymous postings and a gun that fits everybody's lifestyle. And Glock has actually came out with their own little Glock Live, kind of like for your Mac guys out there that have like the Mac World or whatever Apple does each year with their big product announcements. They're doing the same thing. There'll be a link in the show notes where you can go to this Glock Live thing that happens. It happens March 19th at I think or 20th. There's a link in the show notes. The 20th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. There we go. And this is when they're going to break the news of what everybody seems to think is the Glock 43, the single stack 9mm. Obviously going to be huge. Obviously everybody out there wants this gun. We don't have too much information other than our resident detective TJ found this magazine article that has pictures of the gun, has some information on it, but we don't know too many details on it. But I can tell you, obviously, being a Glock guy, I'm super excited. Everything that I see, it looks bigger than the Glock 42 slightly, but smaller than the Shield. Obviously smaller than the Glock 19. I'm super excited about it because, I mean, it's Glock, so I just buy it, right? I don't have to question anything. But it's about time, and I think we can all officially say it's about time, Glock. It's about time. Chad? What do you think about the Glock single stack 9mm finally?
You know, what I don't understand is why they waited so long. I mean, everybody else has pretty much a single stack 9mm. I mean, yeah, maybe they wanted it to work perfect. That's my only guess. But being a single stack Glock, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. And from the article that TJ related, it looks like you said slightly bigger than the 42 and actually a little bit smaller lengthwise than like the 26. And then of course thin like the Glock 42 380. It looks pretty much about the same width as that. So, it'll make a nice carry piece. Plus, you got Glock reliability.
Yep. So TJ, have you already ordered yours?
No, think I'll wait for them to come out and make sure everything is kind of worked out. And I would actually, if I was going to get a single stack Glock like this, it looks a little. A lot of people say the 42 is too big for pocket carry, and this is slightly longer, so I think this is going to be pretty terrible for pocket carry. So I'd prefer something slightly larger if I'm going to carry it on the belt, anyways. But I guess only time will tell how true that is, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit of the info we have on it here is the MSRP is 580, which initially, like, we all thought, wow, that sounds a lot, but normal MSRP on Glock 19 was, what was it, 620? You said earlier, TJ?
I think it's 629 for the Gen 4 version, which I think they're kind of phasing out the Gen 3, so that's probably a good place to compare.
Yeah. So 580 MSRP. So we're hoping, obviously not initially, but once the market actually gets flooded with these, and there's not a huge demand, I'm hoping sub 500 on the gun. I'm hoping somewhere around 450. I think I picked up my Glock 42 when it was still kind of hard to get. I think I picked it up for about 450 or 425. So let's hope it's somewhere around there. Obviously, that fits right into the market, I think, at that price. Let's see here. We got 1.12 pounds, if I'm reading that correctly. And then what overall length is 6.26 inches, and height is 3.39? I'm trying to read that article there.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but it is a magazine article that we have a picture of in the show notes. I'm honestly not sure where this came from because it's a little too blurry. I'm trying to read the margin to see if it tells you, but it says I can definitely tell it's a website that it's linking to. I just can't tell the name. So I'm not even sure. Maybe this is a leaked some kind of gun magazine that somebody just snapped a picture of and leaked it a few months early kind of thing, which I'm betting is what this is.
Yeah. I mean, when the news broke last week, I had initially heard of the Glock 43 and the Glock 42 were actually supposed to be released at the same time. However, they actually had issues with the Glock 43. Again, I've heard that they went through 3 different models, or I should say pre-production models, of the Glock 43. Again, that is absolutely unconfirmed. That's just things that I have heard.
Right.
And but I did know this was coming. I actually did know a gentleman who actually had a pre-production model of this. But obviously you can't come out and say, hey, I know somebody that has it.
But now that the cat's out of the bag.
I don't want to get sued by Glock. But yeah, once the cat got out of the bag, then yeah. First I saw it was on Instagram, and then it just went nuts after that.
Yeah, I think kind of like you alluded to earlier, maybe the reason they waited for this could have been financial reasoning because, like you said, you thought your 42 is the perfect carry gun, but now the 43's out. So if they'd have come out with a 9mm first, would you have bought a 380? Would all the thousands of people that bought the 380 have bought it? No, they probably would have bought the 9. So now they've already bought the 380, and they're going to go out and buy the 9. That's twice the profit for Glock. So I think that could be a motivator.
No, I agree too. But what I had heard is they meant to release them at the same time and just ran into problems. So
yeah, no telling.
I guess
it looks like it has. What's that, Chad?
I was gonna say I'm gonna go with like my role of not buying first model year cars. Don't buy first model year guns because they always seem to have problems also.
Yeah,
dude, it's a Glock.
That 42 had a lot of problems that weren't very. They were pretty covered up by Glock, but they were slowly taken care of. So I think you'd be pretty safe to do that. Wait a year before let the market figure it out.
But I think Glock will take care of you. It's not like
yeah, they were replacing parts and stuff from what I heard. But one kind of interesting note on this picture that we have, the grip seems to be completely slick. So I imagine this is just the picture they have for this magazine is just a pre-production maybe, where it doesn't they didn't even bother putting the stippling on it just because they were trying to get a prototype going. So that's just kind of an interesting note.
Heck, it could be a 3D printed frame just for the picture.
I think they sent out a 42 with no slide serrations, if I'm remembering right. It just kind of one off. Somebody got a 42, or it might have been a shield, just with no slide serrations. So it might have just been a screw up.
Yeah, I would be highly disappointed if it comes out in like the Gen 3 Pebble Grip because, I mean, not that any handguns have great grip anyways, but the Pebble Grip is pretty bad. I mean,
Yeah,
in
I
regards to
like the
grips.
Gen. Really like the Gen 4 grip. I've heard the 42 is a little toned down from like a full size Gen 4, but I
Yep.
imagine it's probably better, especially on that small gun, than that Pebble grip, or as this picture shows, no grip.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I think it's going to be huge. I mean, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think we got a question that this is going to be an instant seller for Glock, obviously. I mean,
right.
all the YouTube channels will be all over it. All the media is going to be all over it. You know, reviews and articles and Facebook and Instagram. I mean, from basically, this is supposed to be released, by the way, at NRA annual meetings for sale and available for purchase, which is late. That's the last weekend in April, I believe. So this should be hitting the market somewhere beginning of April, or excuse me, beginning of May, somewhere in there.
Well, NRA is the second weekend, I guess. I think it's the 8th through the 10th, somewhere around that time. So probably the
Okay, I
end
thought it
of
was a little
April.
later.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I don't know. It depends how busy they are, but I'm definitely gonna get over there and try to get my hands on one and look at it at NRA if they're not completely swamped, and I can get there.
They'll be busy, I can guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Glock seems to be pretty good about when they release something, though, having them in the pipeline already, so they can at
Yeah,
least get some guns out.
Yeah, I guess I need to check on that at work. I guess I wonder if there's already SKUs for it. I guess I'll check that maybe the next time I'm at work to see if it's already skewed up in distribution.
yeah.
But
Good.
obviously it's going to be a big hit. I will point out something too. It does carry the Glock 42 frame. Like there's that, for lack of a better term, like a rise out of right under the slide where your hand is. Those bumps that are there are not on any other type of Glock frames.
Oh yeah.
And so it looks like from the looks of it, this has it. But I want to say on this, at least again, the picture in the magazine, if you look at the picture where it's the left side of the gun, does it look like to you guys there's a little rise near the mag release?
Yeah, that looks kind of like the thumb grip, or like the little thumb shelf, I guess, that's on most of the other Glocks. Does your
Okay.
42 not have that?
I don't have my 42 on me. I got my 17, but that's a Gen 3.
Well, I think it should have that too, I would imagine.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, it's more of like a dimple, I guess, in the full
Yeah,
size
to me
one.
it just looks like it's continuated the whole way to the mag release, which looks a little different to me.
It
But
may
again,
just be because of the small
we're
size.
speculating. Yeah, we're speculating off of a picture from a stolen magazine photo, so we don't know.
That might be a pre-production,
Yeah.
so it might not be completely accurate. It looks like,
well,
just looked up a picture of the 42. It looks like it has that same little ridge, so I imagine it'd be pretty similar to yours,
okay.
unless
Well,
it left
obviously
the
it's going to
factory
be.
without it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a big hit, so I'm sure we'll be
Absolutely.
discussing it. I'm sure Ryan will be discussing it another time here on the show when somebody can actually get hands on it. But let's go ahead and move on to the next part here. Is for those that can't tell, we're kind of doing a little like concealed carry type of show here. So obviously, if you carry a gun, I think everybody's a big advocate of carrying a light, whether that be for threat identification, finding your keys in a Walmart parking lot. I carry a flashlight on my gun and on my person, and I use my flashlight more than like anything else. I've used it in car wrecks and finding keys and finding stuff at work. Absolutely a useful tool. And obviously, there's a new flashlight out by Surefire called the G2X LE. Obviously, that's from their existing G2X line. For example, the G2X tactical flashlight is extremely popular, especially they can be had around $50. Fantastic flashlights. Support all the third-party type of Raven concealment clips and therms and pretty much any aftermarket flashlight part you want. But the interesting thing about this flashlight is it's a dual output LED of pretty big extremes. You have the high at 400 lumens, obviously a pretty high lumen amount. The low is 15. But I think the LE part in their name kind of gives that away. Is this is really geared for law enforcement? What are your thoughts on this, TJ?
I think it's a pretty cool option because Surefire. I think one of their big kind of drawbacks to me is that a lot of their lights are single output. So if you do want to use it as a utility light versus just a weapons light, you have to basically you're stuck with whatever lumen output. And if you were stuck with only 400 lumens, and like you said, you're trying to find something in your car and bounce off of anything bright or a white piece of paper or something, you're going to blind yourself. But if you're using this 15 lumen, 15 might be a little low, but it's definitely way more usable for utility tasks than 400. I'd probably like to see it a little closer to like the 30 to 40 range, but it's still pretty good. It's cool that they have that low output. I'm wondering though how the switch actually works. It looks like it says it's got a click style tail cap, which I'm imagining you click it all the way, which is on, and then maybe either a soft press or a double click to turn it to low.
It says you have to press it again within 2 seconds to turn it to low.
Oh, okay. So I'm wondering if they have the momentary, or maybe I'm missing that. If it's momentary only, like a lot of the other Surefire tactical lights, which I know. Yeah, okay, so it works a lot like a lot of other lights where you do a half press for momentary and then a full press for constant on. And I know that's kind of a big turnoff for a lot of people where they just want a momentary only, so they don't mash that button in the middle of something and their light stays on. So that's, I guess, kind of a drawback, but it's I guess maybe kind of hard to get around that.
Yeah, I wonder what it does with their pressure switches.
We'll read through this part here. Is we have a click style tactical tail cap switch controls the light's output. Simply press or click to unleash all. So 400. So as a momentary or full click is 400 lumens in momentary or a consistent on mode. An important feature for law enforcement applications where instant access to maximum output provides a tactical advantage. Return to off or press or click again within 2 seconds for the LE's low output 15 lumen beam. So I guess I don't know. To me that seems maybe a little backwards. I don't know. But again, it is more geared towards law enforcement, so I guess who would generally probably need 400 more instantly than I'd say it'd probably flip flop for us carriers. For us EDC guys, we would normally use the 15 more than anything, obviously.
Yeah, but you got to look at it this way. You really do want the high output to be first, though, because if you have to pull that out in a tactical situation, even though I love that word, you're going to want it to be the first press is the high beam.
Yeah, you don't want to have to cycle it through to identify somebody across a parking lot versus immediately being on. So I think that's probably
cool if you had like the momentary 15, and if you just click it all the way, it's 400. I don't know. It's just I'm just throwing out ideas,
Yeah,
could be interesting.
That's what our jobs as YouTube internet tactical advisors. We need to tell companies how to make their product, right?
iTunes tactical advisors.
Well, don't we have the tactical so-called Canadian?
Yes, there we go.
Well, I mean,
the joke's never
we're practically tactical here on the Guns and Gear podcast.
Yes. But I mean, to me, the great thing is MSRP on this flashlight is $80 for a Surefire light. I think $80 for a Surefire light, you can't really go wrong. I mean, they're reliable. They're known for just being fantastic products, reliable products that last forever.
Yeah.
Right.
I have just regular G2, and I have it mounted on one of my ARs, and it's been on there for years, and it works fantastic to this day. So, and it's been dropped and had tons of recoil through it, so you can't say much. It wasn't designed for that, but it works.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use them for that because they have that convenient sized body to be able to mount to just scope rings, I'm pretty sure. But let's see, it's I don't think we covered. It's made of this nitrilon polymer body, and the head is anodized aluminum. bezel and all that. It's waterproof, O-ring, and gasket sealed, and it's backed by Surefire's no hassle guarantee, and it includes energy dense 123A batteries, which it takes 2 of. So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool light.
yeah. Again, for MSRP of $80, so you can probably pick it up for what, $60 range, probably somewhere in there.
So
Again,
here's one on LA Police Gear for 72.
Yeah, well,
okay, somewhere in there.
they're brand new, so yeah.
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 But let's continue our EDC thing here. And I know for me, this is definitely somewhere. I mean, we've talked about on my show with tons of firearms instructors. If you have the ability to take a life, you should also carry the ability to save a life. And this is where we're going to talk about the Imminent Threat Solutions EDC Trauma Kit. The really cool thing about this trauma kit is it's designed to fit basically into your back pocket. Very slimline, easy to carry trauma kit. Some really cool features about this. It's a vacuum sealed trauma kit. It's from ITS Tactical. So itstactical.com. There's a link in the show notes there. So it contains 1 combat gauze, a SWAT T tourniquet, night gloves. I can't, for some reason I can't even say that word. And your choice of coyote brown tan or a black sleeve. It's basically, this product is sold as a hygienic, ready-to-use medical supply item that's basically ready to go, easy to carry, to take with you everywhere you go. Man, I know I should be carrying one. I've been lazy about it. But I mean, for now, the price on this is $70. Granted, I don't know. I guess sometimes you'd rather spend that $70 on some sort of ammo or range or mags or whatever. But at the end of the day, spending $70 on this is probably a pretty smart decision. What do you think there, Chad?
Oh, definitely. I'm in the same case as you. As I should probably carry one, but I don't. And if you were to, it's not a bad price, considering what you get. If you were to go out and buy these, maybe not the gloves, but the tourniquet and the quick clot and stuff like that, you're gonna pretty much be in about the same price range, and it's in a fancy sealed kit. The closest thing I have is in the vehicles. I keep a pressure bandage and some quick clot, and I don't really carry gloves, but and then I have a splint, one of those quick splints that I keep in the car too, in case somebody breaks a leg or something. But I don't carry it with me, but it's at least in my car. It's better than being at home. So I think this is a great idea for everyday carry.
No, I always carry one to the range. I mean, I always have a whole full medical kit. Obviously, when I go to the range, and all my vehicles have one. It's something I've been really lacking on carrying. And again, too, it fits in your pocket. They're really not hard to do. They're not hard to carry. It doesn't weigh. I don't think they even have a weight listed on here, but I can tell you it's not much at all.
Yeah, I don't imagine it'd be much. And the size, it looks to be
here
about
we go.
the size.
Weighs 6 ounces with the included pouch.
Wow, that's
super light.
Almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can get it here in black and coyote sleeve. They offer a international kit, and then they also offer it in a slimline pouches, and you can get it in black, coyote, and multicam. I mean, you got to look cool if you're going to save a life.
Well, these slimline pouches, it's like an add-on to it. It's a Molly compatible pouch where you could attach it onto your gear or a belt or a carrier of some kind. So that's pretty cool. You could have it just readily available on the outside of your range bag rather than having to dig through or something like that. But another good thing about it is looking at these pictures, it's a good bit smaller than this guy that's holding its palm. Or his whole hand, I suppose. Probably about the same size as like any of our standard smartphones, nowadays. So it could easily just slip in your back pocket and just forget about it, or any pocket and just forget about it and have it when you need it.
Yeah, one of the pictures he's showing it next to like a standard size kind of wallet. It looks like, or maybe that's one of their carriers. either
I
way.
think that's just a wallet with a money clip on the back. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
about the same size as like a men's wallet.
yeah.
Yeah. So another really nice features on here as well is every kit comes with a card insert that lists the contents, the expiration date on the front, and it includes directions on how to use the tourniquet. So,
Ah, that's good.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing is ever going to replace training, obviously, but that's probably good to have in case, well, somebody has to use it on you. So,
Right. One thing I
but
guess kind of interesting is that the entire thing is vacuum sealed, so you can't, without losing that seal and obviously the hygienics of it, you can't get the tourniquet out to maybe just try it out or make sure that it's exactly how it works. It would make more sense to have that kind of separate, obviously in the same pouch, but maybe not sealed in there, so you could take it out and at least get a little bit of hands-on with that exact tourniquet before you have to use it in a emergency.
Yeah, because most likely if you have to use it on yourself, you're going to have to do it one-handed.
Right. You're gonna have to try to read those directions or refresh yourself on it. Even if you do know how to work it, you might have to still read those directions while working one-handed. So that would be nice if you could pull it out and get a little bit of practice with it.
yeah. But
But if
again, for all those out there, it's $70. I mean, so it's not like brutal. It's not like $150.
yeah, you could maybe buy two, bust one open, and then just practice with that, and then kind of have it as a spare, just in case you ever need to, which hopefully you don't.
Right.
Don't worry, I only use this on my dog, so it's probably clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, if nobody's familiar with this ITS Tactical, it's a pretty cool website. I've read a good bit of their articles. They have a lot of skill building type stuff, teach you how to do all kind of stuff with like emergency type skills. So it's a pretty cool website if y'all just want to check that out on top of looking at this EDC kit.
Yeah.
No, they do have a lot of info there, don't they?
I was going to
Teach
tell
you
you
how to-
guys on
Go ahead, Chuck.
Amazon you can get the SWAT T tourniquet. It looks like for like $14.20. So, if you want to buy one to learn how to use it.
Well,
That's
knowing
it.
that, this might be a little overpriced then.
Yeah, now that I looked it up, and of
Yeah.
course there's always that link you're supposed to use.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the affiliate link.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a segue for you.
Oh, yeah, which of course you can go click on at firearmsradio.tv, click on the Amazon banner, take you directly to Amazon, and it will help support a percentage of your purchase will help support the great shows on the Firearms Radio Network like this one and Practically Tactical. But I mean,
But mostly this one.
if you go out and build your own kit, it's probably not going to be vacuum sealed. It probably doesn't come with a carrier. It doesn't come with expiration date. So I think there are a few bonuses, even if you pay a little bit more for it. Mainly the sterile part, especially when we're involving
definitely.
bandages. I think that's the most critical part of it.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah, the gloves and the bandages definitely need to be sterile, so that's a good to have.
yeah. So we're gonna have to move on to the tech or gadget app of the week here. We do not have any reviews this week, but of course you can go read all the reviews at firearmsinsider.tv. I know there's a bunch of reviews posted up on there, and they're always looking for more people to review gear, which I'll give you guys an email address at the end of the show if you're interested in writing a review. But the tech gadget of the week is actually something that I am going to hands down go download and purchase on my phone because I do this stuff all the time. Is somebody finally came out with a concealed carry 50 state guide. So you can punch in what states CCW you have, and it shows what states have reciprocity with the concealed carry that you have. You can select multiple states as well. I can tell you that now, granted, too, if somebody uses an app or some third-party thing, stuff can change very, very frequently on this. So, it never hurts to, if you're traveling to a state, just call. You can just call there, and usually the Attorney General's office will at least point you in the right direction if they don't know. But this is a really good way to at least get some information, or if I'm driving out to Idaho, I know I take the northern route because every state honors my CCW except Minnesota. And an app like this would be extremely useful, especially if you travel a lot. For $1.99, I think it's a smart buy to have in case you ever, for some reason, need to know, what states honor what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say, it is a good app, or having an app like this. I actually have one for my Android phone. It's a different one, but if you have an iPhone, any of these style apps, and especially if you know, they update them. It looks like, so that helps. But yeah, I mean, that way you can just punch in the state and it tells you laws and tells you if there's reciprocity for you, and if you have more than one permit, if which ones work, and stuff like that. It looks like it even tells you if you're allowed in restaurants serving alcohol, or rest areas or state parks and stuff like that, which looks like a pretty cool deal.
yeah, it's pretty kind of like almost like a flashcard, I guess. At least this screenshot is. It shows you real quick heads up, whether that state honors your permit or what they recognize. You can click on links to see their exact transport laws, like if you're driving through Illinois or something where you have to take the magazine out, empty the magazine, lock them in two separate boxes, or whatever crazy stuff they have in different states. Um, you have, like, on just quick glance, you see the duty to inform, so you don't even have to go really looking through it to see a lot of this stuff. And then whether or not, like Chad said, the restaurants and state parks and stuff, all that's visible on just the main screen. So you don't really have to searching like maybe having to go through a state's website or so. So it's pretty convenient to have there, and it looks good too. It's not just some cheap junky little app. It actually looks functional. I'll definitely
Yeah,
have to download it, and it is available
yeah.
for i devices and Android phones. So
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw somebody
Oh,
drop
go ahead,
that
Chad.
in there. Oh, I was gonna say somebody dropped in the Android device one for us.
yeah, I think I'm outnumbered here. Everybody
So
else is
too.
Apple guys. I'm the only Android guy, so I had to represent my
No,
my group and throw that in there.
I'm an Android guy. I'm not an Apple guy.
Okay.
I was an Android guy until last Friday. Then I switched back to Apple
You
because for
jerk.
some reason in my S5, every time I push the home button, it would launch a Google app. So do you know how hard what that means is you can never get to your home screen without like restarting your phone.
Well,
So needless to say,
there's a little toggle switch, so you just easily turn that off.
no, it's not set to do that, and it just keeps doing it. And they were like, you can send your phone in, and I'm like, I'll just get a new phone. But
Should have told
from
me
this
that. I
app,
told you how to turn it off.
but from this app, the way it looks is from their picture of it. And by the way, it has 448 ratings, and it's 5-star, which is
Nice.
like unheard of any app giving you straight 5 stars. But from the way it
Yeah,
looks in the app is you select what permits you have, and then it basically gives like a green, yellow, red of states you can carry, or it's only honored, what have you. And you click on the state, for example, like the picture that they have is Utah, having the Utah license, and you click on Texas, then it loads up and it says, Texas is the shall issue, and then like you guys said there, it gives you the information on, can you carry in restaurants serving alcohol, roadside, etc. Some other interesting things that they added here in the recent, they added FFL dealers. You can find FFL dealers
Hmm.
in their app. That's kind of cool.
that is kind of cool.
Added integration to new U.S. historical documents app. They added court cases, airplane transport, train transport, whole bunch of kind of cool stuff here. Added a U.S. Constitution link. There we go.
Oh,
That's
nice.
kind of cool. Yeah.
It looks like I haven't read the details, but looking at this, um, their little home screen, I guess they have one link called "Posted Criminal Protection Zones." So I'm assuming that kind of links to like maybe a map that shows you who does and doesn't allow guns. Whether a local restaurant has a posted sign saying that they're not uh, accepting of our lifestyle, so you shouldn't give them money.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely pretty cool to have on hand too, all in one place.
This is $1.99. It's called CCW. Then it's a dash concealed carry 50 state guide by Workman Consulting. Again, $1.99. The only questionable thing I see on here is they have a Beretta handgun on the icon. Who carries a? That's a P4X Storm, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a PX4 subcompact.
PX4, yeah. Pick a better gun. Come on, people. Jeez. Other than that, I don't have any gripes about that, but that looks like a pretty good app. So we'll move on to, there's no listener feedback this week, so we will be skipping that. Then we have on, of course, you guys should go check out This Week in Guns podcast, and of course, check out all the shows on Firearms Radio Network by visiting firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But first, Chad, what do you got going on? What do you got coming up? What is new in your world?
Not much here, even though it's a couple months away. Here in May, our local club puts on a machine gun shoot here in Oregon, so that's always a fun time. I always volunteer to help, so that's, you get to shoot basically dealers come, you get to rent whatever you want, so, and they do it every year, third weekend in May.
And go ham, huh?
Uh-huh.
Any reviews coming up or anything you're working on other than the LCP trigger?
I got that LCP trigger. Haven't really been doing much else. Got to get out and shoot that. Still have some 380 ammo, so that's a good sign. I got a compensator I bought that I should probably do a review on if I can ever figure out from the company I bought it from. They said they're made up in Portland, so kind of got to check it out and see who actually makes them. That's about all I got going on here.
Okay. TJ, anything in the works with you?
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, I'll be going to the NRA annual meetings in Nashville, Tennessee, April 10th through the 12th, which is I think a Thursday through Sunday. So definitely looking forward to that, seeing a whole bunch of new stuff, maybe getting my hands on the new Glock 43, assuming I don't get trampled on my way in.
You mean,
because I imagine...
You mean Glock 43?
Yeah, 43. But so I'll be there, and we're hoping to have maybe a listener meetup somewhere, but we don't have any details. I was talking to Ryan Machad over at Handgun Radio, so I think between him and the main Gun Guy Radio and stuff, somebody will let you know where people can meet us. Come and have a beer with us, I guess, if that's what they want to do.
Did you tell Ryan that Revolver people aren't welcome there?
No, I'm sure they're welcome. It's Nashville.
It's Nashville.
One thing there that actually kind of works out with me guest hosting for Ryan on this show is actually on Practically Tactical for the month of April. For all the shows that we record, we're actually doing an EDC April. So for any of you listeners out there that would like to come on the show and talk about your EDC, I'm inviting you to come on the shows. We record our shows Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we're going to have people come on the show, talk about their EDC, what they carry, where they carry, and then we're going to having a firearms instructor on the show as well. We have Jeff Blumen from Arm Dynamics. We have Aaron Cowan from Sage Dynamics, Brandon LaBeouf from Knoll Attack. We have on Aaron Brumley from Solo Defense, and we have on, I'm missing one more, we have on someone else, I can't quite remember. Basically, we have a firearms instructor on every week. We're inviting people to come on the show, talk about their EDC with them, maybe get some feedback, some suggestions, and then cover a few related to carry subjects as well. So for anybody out there here listening to this podcast and you're interested in coming on, email me at nick@firearmsradio.tv, and we'll get that all set up. So we're going to wrap it up here, but send any questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsider.tv. You should really tell Ryan just how awesome we all did tonight without him, and you should wish him well on his recovering from his tramp stamp tattoo. But all those emails you want to send to him about his tattoo, you can send to cross@firearmsradio.tv. Also, please remember to subscribe and to leave us a review on iTunes. That really, really helps out the podcast, so we'd appreciate if you guys would do that. Then, of course, check out all the other shows here on the Firearms Radio Network as well. by visiting firearmsradio.tv/iTunes, and at that link you can visit all the other shows. And of course, please visit the Firearms Insider for reviews and industry coverage, which of course a lot will probably come from the NRA annual meetings, right, TJ?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to get a good bit of coverage, pictures, videos. Hopefully, we'll be able to have a show from there. I'll probably do Ryan and Chad since he'll be there too, and we might have a show or two come out that weekend.
Okay, awesome. Well, for everybody out there, appreciating you putting up with me, filling in for Ryan. Hope Ryan has a good week here. He's actually doing some family stuff here, so we wish him all the best. Hope he does well, going through everything. And for you guys, thanks for coming on, putting up with me. I don't think I got us kicked off the network yet, so I think we can consider the show an accomplishment.
Well, Jake hasn't barged in yet and told us to get off, so we ought to be okay.
Well, for everybody out there, thanks for putting up with me, and thanks for listening. I appreciate it. So take care until next time.
Later.